broadcasting to you on WNN 1470 AM and TrentoVision.tv from the world's leading think tank laboratory, buried deep in an undisclosed building in hostile territory where evil and corruption is exposed. You're about to enter the Tom Trento Show.
Oh, here we go again. Another week coming at you. Hello, everybody. Hello, CJ.
Hello, Tom.
How are you? I brought you in early. Mark's on his roller skates over there.
That's right.
Hello.
I couldn't miss Mishmash Monday.
Mishmash Monday, that's right. Well, we're going to catch up today, and for those of you just tuning in at about 2 minutes past 5 o'clock on the 24th of June, beautiful Florida day, 90 degrees? Nice, sunny Florida. 2 minutes after 5 o'clock, 24 June. Welcome. Today, SCOTUS. SCOTUS. Anybody know what that means? SCOTUS.
Supreme Court of the United States.
Supreme Court of the United
Scary
States.
Court of
Scary
the
Court
United
of the United
Scary
States.
Court of the United States. How about POTUS?
Socialist Court of the United States.
How about POTUS?
Oh,
POTUS with a P. Oh, you guys know that.
yes, we do.
They know that because
we're holding
I
our
would
tongues
never-
from
right.
saying all the things that start with P.
I would never surround myself with people that did not know what POTUS meant. So they know it, but they're not telling you. Right, everybody? Right? POTUS, President of the United States. How about
Also known as El Jefe.
how about FLOTUS? FLOTUS. Figure it out. Anybody out there? Give us a call. Oh, wait, you can't do that.
You can't
FLOTUS.
do that. Yeah, are we ever going to do that again?
First Lady of the United States of America. Those are all real terms. So SCOTUS today, yes, we are going to in the future. We are getting donations in. I hear somebody talking in the background somewhere. And it's my computer, of course. That's what it was. We heard the lady talking on my computer.
Good, because
Okay.
I thought it was me
I
for
thought it was
a
me.
minute.
I'm going,
Where's that
I
coming
thought it
from?
was me. Yeah, isn't
Hey,
that what I was talking
Hey,
about
bear
before
with
the
me.
show?
I just got back from Texas.
Texas.
I'm back from Austin, Texas, where everything's big. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But today we're dealing with SCOTUS, the Supreme Court decisions. I think we have to evacuate.
Oh, God.
I think it's time to evacuate.
Viral incubus in the bunker.
Anybody have the Lysol spray anywhere?
Sorry about that.
That's okay, no problem. There's great ventilation in here,
It gives it
and it's such a big studio that
great authenticity.
Yes.
your germs cannot reach us by any means. Mark
I know
has germs
Alan's
that
actually immune to my germs, so.
Mark has germs that bore through lead. I don't know if you knew that. His,
Well, he's our secret weapon, really.
Yes,
He can get to Superman.
We're going to release
Biological.
him at the border crossing to
I
Gaza.
know your biological element, that's for sure.
So in any event, SCOTUS, we're going to talk about the imminent Supreme Court decisions regarding the traditional view of marriage, where a guy marries a girl, and the new world where you're
It's
rolling
shocking
dice.
that you should even have to
know.
explain it.
You know what? I go back to the framers of the Constitution. You know what? It was such a ridiculous concept for them to even think about putting, okay, marriage is between a man and a woman. You're like, it was such a given they didn't even, think about, okay.
I know. Well, we'll talk about it because it's a new day and age. There's 4 or 5 decisions coming down. In fact, one came down a little bit earlier regarding UT, right where I was a couple of days ago. I was on the campus of UT, University of Texas, and Austin, driving through there. We're going to talk a little bit today about little Eddie's snow job. Man, that boy is racking up his miles, his
Frequent
flight miles.
flyer
Yep.
miles.
His frequent trader miles. He's racking them up. We're going to talk about him. We have today, on Monday, we have Tom in Austin. I'm going to tell you about a very interesting event I went to over the weekend. And we're going to show you a fascinating piece of footage, short little video. You would think for this certain demographic group that their Messiah has come back. the way they have reacted. We're gonna show you what took place in Gaza a couple of days ago. As a result, well, hang in. We're going to show you that. But I'm Tom Trento, CJ with me, Mark over there. We're light a little bit in the studio today. It's summertime.
Everybody's on holiday.
It's summertime, summertime. And we got a great week for you. Tomorrow, more issues of the day. Tomorrow, Professor Jonathan Machuzitz. Remember we had him on last week?
Yeah.
Well, he got nailed by CARE. Council on American Islamic Relations. We're going to bring you some video, and we're going to analyze that in great detail because CARE needs to be shut down in the United States of America. That's tomorrow. And a couple of other surprises tomorrow. But right now, make sure that you keep us on the road, folks, or in the studio. Please go to theunitedwest.org. That's our website for our counterterrorism work. All those tabs at the top, take a moment and just surf through our website. I did it earlier today, actually. I haven't done that in a little while. Fascinating material we put in there, theunitedwest.org, but on the front there's a big little block that says what?
Donate securely.
Donate securely, yes.
We would never want you to be insecure in your donations. So we
That's right.
need monthly donations. We have three numbers for you: $18, $25, or unlimited, whatever you want to put in there per month. So if you could please do that, it helps us budget. If you come on as an $18 a month donor, that helps us figure out how much food our families can eat, those who have families.
Yes.
Whether the dogs
Me
can,
and my 8 children who only eat oatmeal.
Drool. I think drool, CJ.
So-
I've seen it.
So that would be very, very... Is that little fan thing on? I guess it is.
No, I turned it off,
turned it
but
off.
it sounds windy, doesn't it?
No, it sounds
The wind
fine.
is in my ears.
No, try
That's
it
because I
again.
have
Try it
it.
again because it's getting warm on this side of the studio
Okay.
Dee-dee.
in Florida. Oh, here we go.
There's the cool
nice.
Florida breeze.
That luxurious breeze. Be sure to watch Steve Kane. Listen to Steve Kane.
Listen
Steve
to
Kane
him and Brian Craig.
every morning. WNN 1470. That's our call numbers. 1470 call letters. WNN. And if you're trying to hook up with iHeartRadio, I had lunch with a woman the other day. I used to watch you. I can't get this iHeart thing going. And Mary was with us, Mary from Savannah.
Uh-huh.
She goes, give it to me. And in 10 seconds,
She had the iHeart thing.
yeah, you got to do WNN 1470. You got to put the numbers in.
Well, I just put in WNN 1470 and it worked.
Well, if you go to South Florida and you put WNN, then it knows that's WNN.
Actually, I think if you just put 1470 in, it'll actually search for all the
Yeah,
1470s.
well, if you put WNN 1470, you're sure to get
We're
it.
supposed to
Yeah.
make it
So,
easy.
Yes, just
I'm just
WNN.
I'm trying to make it really easy.
1470.
1470 and remember Boca Raton, Florida. All right.
And you can go to iHeartRadio and listen to us there, TrentoVision.tv. In the near future, we're going to be integrating TrentoVision and the United West website into one place, so you only have to go to one place,
One-stop shop.
one-stop shop. and
No,
you-
Tom, I want to keep it confusing. I want to make sure people go to 4 different sites of the YouTube channel.
We'll have the United West, and then there'll be a pull-down menu for all the TrentoVision archives and all of that great stuff and all the videos we do. We're going to make it real easy for you. But in all honesty, we're raising money because the people that rebuild the website say, you got to give us some money. So we'd appreciate any sort of donation.
You know
to
they
do
don't
that.
charge us a whole ton.
No, they're very
Yeah,
they're
but
very
they
good
do
that
need
way.
to get paid once in a while.
Indeed, they do at 10 minutes after 5 o'clock. What we'd like to do right now is tell you about the number 498.
498. What's 498?
Uh-oh,
Tom?
498. That's going to be days, isn't it?
It's
You're not
gonna be
going
some
to you're not
day
going to
thing.
believe this.
Is it really 498 till the election time?
At the
Oh,
end of our
no.
shows now.
Oh, no.
At the end of our shows now, we're gonna take a few minutes on action because it's 498.
Oh, gosh.
Is it really?
498 days till November 4th, 2014.
Wow.
That's all that there is 498 days.
Why are we only going to November 4th?
That's election day. It's when you.
Well, I thought it was November 6th.
What's November 6th?
November
It was November 6th this year.
Oh, okay.
Changes.
Oh, it changes. That's right. I'm
The
sorry.
dates change.
Oh.
It's the first Tuesday.
First Tuesday. I keep forgetting.
No big
I
deal.
just remember.
No big deal. In Slavovia, where
that
you're
was
from,
totally a Gidget moment you had there, I have to say.
in
Another
Unitarian,
Homer moment. Oh.
in Unitarianville, where you're from,
No, it's unicornism.
Unicornism, where Mark is from, maybe it's always November 6th. But everywhere else, it's the first
I'm
Tuesday.
voting November 6th, Tom. I'm just
Okay,
letting
good.
everybody else know.
We'll tell all the people we disagree with that Election Day is November 6th, 2014.
Don't forget to vote November 6th.
It's November 4th, 2014, and we'll talk to you at the end about the importance of that day. And you want to have a revolution in the United States, a bloodless coup, a bloodless revolution. There's ways of doing it. But you got to look at this video right now, because our work on national security issues, on cultural issues, is really underscored in terms of the clash of two worldviews. You hear us use the term worldview. It's the way people view the world in which they live, how they answer the big questions: where did I come from? Why am I here? Where am I going? What is right? What is wrong? How do I treat my neighbor? Yeah. Oh, so is that you or me?
That's me.
We both said the same thing at the same time.
Jinx.
And I got this little thing. Jinx.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
That means you both have to be quiet.
That's
Play
right.
video, Mark.
Unrehearsed. Unrehearsed.
Play video, Mark. Okay, go ahead. Ready?
Well, I gotta set the video up. It's in Gaza.
Gaza.
This is in Gaza. Tell everybody where Gaza
We
is.
need to have a special sound effect and graphic every time we say Gaza.
In Gaza.
Like a Godzilla kind of thing. Gaza. Ah!
Gaza is in Israel. It's been there a long time. It's in Israel.
Well,
About,
not
Not
anymore.
technically.
I mean, they've been calling it Gaza for a long time, part of Israel. But let's go to Gaza right now over the weekend. Take a look at this.
Traffic gridlock in the middle of the night. But this was a moment to savour. Waving Palestinian flags and the traditional keffiyeh scarf, families came out on the streets after a Gazan, Mohammed Assaf, was declared the winner of a prestigious regional talent contest. Young people here can relate to the 23-year-old who had a rough start to life growing up in the Khan Yunis refugee camp. Now he's a role model and a hero. Look and see what Mohammed Assaf is doing, they chant.
Gaza hasn't seen scenes of celebration like this, such an emotional outpouring since the end of last November's conflict with Israel. But this is all for a singer, 23-year-old Mohammed Assaf. He's the new Palestinian idol and now the new Arab idol.
There was plenty of support for the former wedding singer in the Beirut studio where the TV show is produced. But still, Mohammed Assaf was overwhelmed by his victory. And he thanked people across the Palestinian territories for their votes. Soon, many will get the chance to see him in concert. He's expected to perform in the occupied West Bank, as well as for excited fans back home in Gaza. Yolande Snell, BBC News, Gaza City.
Uh-oh, somebody's in trouble. Mohammed Assaf is in trouble. This is really fascinating footage.
Most,
No, it's actually-
most un-Islamic.
For everybody out there that heard that report, driving your cars at, 10, 12, 15 after 5 o'clock, 24 June 2013, when you get home, go to youtube.com/TheUnitedWest. Or you know what? We made it easy for them. If you go to TrentoVision, right underneath the viewing window on TrentoVision, there's a link that you can go right to our archives. Go to our archives, watch today's show, and look at that little piece of video. It's really fascinating, and it gives us, I think, a little bit of hope that we could disrupt, disable, destroy Sharia Islam in the United States of America. What do I mean by that?
Well, I'm actually 100% behind this. This is actually amazing. This is how actually to break the back of the Islamic supremacy is through the American Idol, because once you start breaking it into the culture, into the youth, that music is something that should be enjoyed by everybody, that it shouldn't be no restrictions on it, and especially the sexuality of music, of modern music, will send a death arrow right into the heart of Islamic Islamization. And to compare that to what the book actually says, the Sharia law book, and what the young people are practicing, they're going to come really quickly to the juxtaposition of one of the two. They're going to have to make a decision. Do I go this way or do I go this way?
What are we talking about, folks? What are your thoughts?
Are they going to have a choice? Are they going to have a choice, or are they going to get cracked down upon by the morals and vice police?
You know, they ban music, they ban sexuality, they ban dress.
And yet their population continues to expand. So apparently not all sexuality has been done away with.
Well, inside the home, sexuality is a different story than outside. But this type of perversion, if you will, in the eyes of the Islamic community, strikes right at the heart of everything they stand for. They cannot let this stand, because you see what they said about Hamas' reaction to it. They were
the folks. It was maybe a little difficult if you're driving in your car on a beautiful Florida afternoon somewhere in Central Florida, South Florida, East Coast to get the gist of what we're talking about. But we showed a 1:38-second news report about American Idol. You know the TV show American Idol, where there's a contest to find the best amateur singer in America, and then they become a professional and get a contract. Well, this is American Idol, but not in America. It was Arab Idol.
The Arab Idol. Right.
It was Palestinian Idol. He lives in Gaza. He was from a refugee camp, whatever that is. What is a refugee camp?
A made-up place. A made-up place done by Palestinians to their own people for the purposes of acquiring billions and trillions of dollars from the United States, the UN, the West, and world sympathy for having the longest running, largest growing population of refugees ever in the history of the world.
When you hear refugee camp,
67 years.
Anything in Gaza, folks, it's a joke. Mohammed probably wanted to go home to his beautiful home, and if you've ever seen pictures in Gaza,
he's got a condo on the beach if he has anything.
There are beautiful neighborhoods, and for, just as CJ is saying, for world agitation, the Hamas perpetuates a refugee place. Probably there's underground bunkers and everything that's nice and clean. But it's a total scam. All the money they get, all the countries that want to help, it's nonsensical. But this kid grew up in a refugee
Actually, I do
camp.
have to say, can I correct myself?
Yes, you can.
Okay, my correction to myself here is, it's not just Hamas, for one thing. It's also the Palestinian Authority. But if you really want to see where Palestinians actually do live in refugee camps, all you have to do is go to the Arab countries where the Palestinians live and are second-class citizens and not allowed to have citizenship in Lebanon or Syria or Jordan or Saudi Arabia. And those countries keep the Palestinians in refugee camps and do not let their Arab Muslim brethren integrate into the greater society. They have second-class status, and they do not have the same rights as the citizens of those countries.
So, Tom, let's get back to Arab Idol.
What an inconvenient fact.
What an inconvenient fact.
Well, I mean, this is beautiful because the Arab Idol, the Palestinian Idol, which he won, which is an interesting deal going on in Palestine.
And that was held in Beirut, by the way.
In Beirut, yeah. He ain't doing any Palestinian Arab Idol stuff.
Yeah. And look at all those young girls just getting all excited and everything like that. Oh my God, young girls are getting all excited about men on stage. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Why are we here on TrentoVision.tv? 20 minutes or so, 20, right? Yeah, 20 minutes after 5 o'clock. Why are we highlighting and emphasizing the Arab Idol Award won by Mohammed Assaf, 23-year-old former wedding singer? If you
He
look at the
does
video,
have that look about him,
Yeah.
doesn't he? I
He's
have
got
to
a look
say.
about him, though. He does,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
if you watch the video, you will see outrageously excited Muslims driving their cars like it's New Year's Eve in Manhattan, or 4th of July somewhere. I mean, they are beyond overwhelmed with joy and happiness and excitement because their guy, an Arab guy from Palestine, from Gaza, won the award. Let's dissect this. This is very, very important. We're going to compare it to, as Mark said earlier, the book. And you're looking at some B-roll now, the happiness. We're going to compare it with this is how you're supposed to live as a Muslim. Ain't no Muslim idols, no dancing, singing idols in here, just the opposite.
Verboten.
So we're gonna compare it, but before we do that, let's do sort of a psychological eval, okay? On the people running down the streets, excited. I mean,
You know what this is like? This is, if you remember back to, like, for instance, the fall of the Soviet Union and the breakup of Eastern Europe. It was American music was such a big part of that. The joyfulness of the music. And music has the cachet of freedom for
It does.
people, I think. And that's what you're seeing.
Yeah, and
It's-
it brings
it's
back,
really-
and what it's going to do, like here in America, it'll sponsor a sexual revolution in the Middle East, where people are going to say, "Hold on, this Sharia wants me to do what? I'm stoned if I have premarital sexual relations. I am beaten if I have sex outside the confines of marriage." I tell you what, this American Idol stuff is not going to be permitted over there. It is verboten. It goes against every
Okay,
fiber.
and if it is, it goes underground because they're all wired to the internet. These kids.
this is a different world.
It
now.
goes
Right.
underground, and then really you have a chance at changing the next generation.
Well, this is how you do change over the years, is through this. And this is what I've always been saying. It comes through music, it comes through
But
art, it comes through
let's-
science and everything like
let's
that.
go
But
to the
let's
book.
establish why we even have to
Yes.
talk about this as being something significant to begin with.
Well, 90% of America looks at this. They go, "Oh, the Arabs have a American Idol. How nice." No.
It's not quite that simple.
When you're in a civilization jihad, as we are in, folks, these sort of developments are significant. They mean something. We'll connect the dots and explain it. But whenever I hold this book up, it triggers.
It triggers, yes.
It triggers something in my head, which I'm trying to.
Pavlov, you're slipping.
Like Pavlov,
It
it's
triggers.
It triggers.
It triggers something to happen.
There we go.
My Sharia. My Sharia. Never gonna stop or give it up. Killing infidels, always got it planned. Underhand, give Allah a yell. Whoa! My Sharia.
Love my Sharia!
My Sharia.
Love my Sharia!
My Sharia.
It's been a while. Wow.
I missed that so much.
Bring Miss Sharia back. She won the Miss Sharia contest 2012.
That's right.
Oh
the
my
Sharia
gosh!
contest. She did.
I never even had a chance to enter.
No,
No, you didn't. You didn't,
Uh,
CJ. Well, you're Jewish. You really can't.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Right? No,
Yeah, it's
you're not allowed in Muslim lands, and
Oh,
you get your own little.
Yeah, but one of the segments we're going to do tomorrow, shoulder to shoulder.
Right.
Remember that, shoulder to shoulder. Dot.
Should I make a
we're gonna do
note?
this. Shoulder to shoulder something. We're gonna look at shoulder to shoulder tomorrow. It's an interfaith organization that has brought the worst jihadis you could imagine together with Jewish leaders from the United States to stand shoulder to shoulder with Muslims to guard them against us. It's amazing. Tomorrow, shoulder to shoulder. It's nauseating.
Well, I wonder which
Oh,
side.
and-
I wonder which side Hollywood leftist liberals are going to stand on when the Hamas and all these fundamentalist Muslims start coming out and reading what Tom has to say here in the Sharia book.
Sharia report right here, folks. All right, we're talking at 26 minutes past 5 o'clock, WNN 1470, Monday, 24 June. We're talking about American Idol contest won in Beirut, Lebanon by a 23-year-old Muslim. And the Muslims in the Arab world are going nuts because this young guy won a contest. Now, we want to remind our Muslim friends out there, and we're doing this by way of love and concern for Muslims, because we believe they're caught up in a system, Islam. It's really primarily a political system. It's a death cult in many, many respects. It thrives on killing. How many 10 people killed over the weekend in Pakistani K2 mountain, I believe it was that.
Okay, great.
What happened?
The
I didn't hear about this.
Taliban
What happened?
killed mountain climbers
why?
to send a message to President Obama to stop using drones. And on and on and on. I mean, they beheaded a 14-year-old kid in Aleppo, in Syria, because the kid was running a little coffee stand, and one of the people buying coffee said, "Can you extend some credit to me?" And the kid jokingly said, "I wouldn't extend credit to Mohammed himself." And one of the freedom fighters
Freedom
heard that.
fighters?
They grabbed him, they took him, they beat the hell out of him, brought him back, put him in the street in front of his parents and shot him and killed him, 14 years old. They said, if you mock, this was in Damascus just a couple of days ago, in the Damascus area. If you mock Allah, you have 3 days to repent. If you mock the Prophet, you die immediately. So, folks, we don't hate Muslims by any means. In fact, we see Muslims locked into this deadly system. And what we're going to show you right now is the joy and the beauty and the excitement of human beings, because someone they love excelled in the arts. Here's a young guy, 23 years old, raised in slums, according to their own testimony, used his natural talent to excel, was recognized on a regional level, went to Beirut, competed regionally, and won a singing contest, something that's de jour in the United States, something that's second nature to compete in these sort of things. Well, the Muslim world in Gaza and now in the West Bank is beyond themselves in excitement. But we want to remind the Muslim world today that if you exhibit excitement by listening to music, if you exhibit interest by listening to singers, if you exhibit enjoyment by participating in musical arts, you are in direct violation of the book that has been written by the scholars, by the mullahs, by the leaders, your leaders, the guidebook to get you to paradise. Now, don't take our word for it. You feel like reading something? This is nauseating. Can you read about musical instruments, please?
Okay.
It's really nauseating.
Music, song, and dance.
Reliance of the Traveler. It's the handbook, How to Get into Heaven for Muslims.
Codified, real quick.
It's
codified,
real, it's all real
certified
stuff.
Law by
Bona fide, codified, jodified.
codified, everything by
Creedified.
U.S. Muslims. This is a certified book for all U.S. Muslims to read.
And here, come to me for a second. Oh Allah, I would like to know, I looked at the video about Mohammed, and he won the Arab Idol, and they were singing and playing musical instruments. I would like to know if I can do the same thing, oh Allah.
Oh my gosh. Should I just skip here to here on the day of
No,
resurrection?
yes.
Go ahead, give the whole thing. Give the whole
The
thing.
whole thing?
Yes.
Okay. As for the condemnation of musical instruments, flutes, strings, and the like by the truthful and trustworthy, and then it says in parentheses, Allah bless him and give him peace, who does not speak from personal caprice, it is nothing besides a revelation inspired. Let those who refuse to obey him beware lest calamity strike them or a painful torment. The prophet, Allah bless him and give him peace, said, Allah, mighty and majestic, sent me as a guidance and mercy to believers and commanded me to do away with musical instruments, flutes, strings, crucifixes, And the affair of the pre-Islamic period of ignorance. On the day of resurrection, Allah will pour molten lead into the ears of whoever sits listening to a songstress. Oh gosh.
Oh, God.
Song makes hypocrisy grow in the heart as water does herbage. Oh my gosh.
You remember back in the 1950s, the time when they had the revolution of the rock and roll revolution?
Sure, yeah.
And how the people got all upset about how this was bringing vice.
Satan's music and all of that,
Music,
yeah.
all that. Well, take that attitude back in the 1950s about rock and roll, amplify it by about 1 million, and that's the amount of threat that this type of music is going to be having on the Islamic community.
Your point earlier about
Well,
music
it says
leading
if you
to
skip further down, there will be peoples of my community who will hold fornication, silk, wine, and musical instruments to be lawful. All of this is explicit and compelling. I mean,
well, it's pretty well established, if you've ever been to a party,
yeah.
that music and drinking and sexuality, particularly in a younger age, high school, college kids, kind of all fit together. You made that point earlier,
Yes,
Mark.
yes.
Well, in the 50s, the parents were seeing Elvis gyrating and all that. They're saying this is going to be a problem. They were right.
Right.
They were right.
They were right.
But that's the way free will is, and not everybody got caught up in that, and not everybody got their lives destroyed. But that's what freedom is about.
Right.
Whereas the Sharia says, no, nobody can have any freedom ever. We tell you what to do. Problem is that doesn't jive with human nature.
And with the Hollywood left, and I'm saying you're going to see a clash come here where they're going to have to make a choice.
They being
the Hollywood leftists against the Muslims. They're going to keep saying, "Hey, isn't this great American Idol over in Palestine?"
You got to get a little closer to your mic.
They're going to say that they're going to hear that crickets chirping and say, "Isn't this great?" And they're going to say, "What do you mean it's not great?"
Well, according to this book here, what you just read, if you listen to musical instruments, now let's take this a step at a time. Mohammed Assaf just won.
Okay,
Arab
but
Idol.
maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's a technicality because he's a songster, not a songstress.
Oh, it's possible. Well,
No,
could be.
no.
And was he singing a cappella?
No. It is completely bare bone. Everything he's doing, you might as well just throw Elvis Presley in the middle of all this. I mean, or any modern day singer in the middle of Palestine. That's the same effect that this is going to have on the culture. But even worse because he's Muslim. He's actually going against the Sharia as a Muslim.
Okay, but if you look at the Middle East, there's different kinds of Muslims. So if you look at the news, you'll see some broadcasts from some countries where everybody looks westernized, and there are women on the set who are dressed pretty much the way that I am. And then you go to another country and they're completely covered, and they're not allowed to speak the same way that they are in another country. So I get maybe it just depends on where you are. Maybe it's local standards or something for Islamic behavior.
But the world perception, though, and that's what they're more worried about is the world perception. Go ahead, Tom.
Sorry. Well, all of the cultural conditioning has to be evaluated by the Sharia if you're a Muslim. So if you're in a country like Turkey where there's Western dress for the women, Iran is trying to change that. But if you're there, you don't say to Allah, your Quran, your Hadith, your Sunnah, your reliance. I'm in Turkey, that stuff doesn't apply to me. No. I'm in Turkey, I'm a Muslim, what am I supposed to do? Can I wear Versace or Armani or nice shoes and have my nails done? No. You're in violation of Sharia compliant Islam. And if you want to get to paradise and you want a chance to be with Allah eternally, you have to follow Sharia compliant Islam. This says that Mohammed Assaf, that wonderful kid who has a phenomenal voice, who we in the West would applaud as
Well, I wouldn't applaud him based on what he's singing about, but
Well,
I mean...
No, but the concept...
Let's not forget about that part of it, guys. Let's not overly glamorize this kid, okay? Waving the Palestinian scarf, which is all about killing Jews.
Right. We're going to get to that part because we're going to show, we'll jump to that part right now, we're going to show that the level of excitement that the Palestinians had regarding their beloved Mohammed Assaf is only superseded by their hatred for Jews.
Okay. All right. Just so long as we get back to something that everybody knows and
Tangible, all right.
understands.
Because it goes right back. Like,
if we could come back to the real world, yeah.
like you guys want to sing at a Jewish theater over here in New York? Oh, we hate the Jews. But no, listen, Mohammed Assaf, according to his religion, now Mohammed Assaf does not have the right to say, I don't believe what the law book says about my religion. His religion says on the day of resurrection, when you die and you're resurrected, you stand before Allah, and Allah then says you're with me or you're not with me. Allah will, he's not going to talk to him, he's going to pour molten lead into Mohammed Assaf's ears and just keep pouring it in, because he not only did he listen to music through the whole event, the whole campaign, the whole contest.
But look at all the people he inspired to listen as
all
well.
of them are going to have molten lead poured in their ears, because why? Song, is he singing? Are these people singing?
Yes.
Song makes hypocrisy grow in the heart as water does the grass, the herbage, the herb, the vegetation. Song makes hypocrisy grow as water makes vegetation grow.
Read 4.
The community, the Islamic community, the Muslims, will experience the swallowing up of some people by the earth, the metamorphosis of some into animals, and being rained upon with stones. So all of those people,
All these people here on your screen.
They're
I
doomed and
challenge
damned.
every single Muslim listening to us right now. I challenge every single one of you, whether you're in Oregon or whether you're in Palestine or wherever you are. How could you interpret any other than all those people that listen to Mohammed Assaf and Mohammed himself? They're playing on our screen right now. They will experience the swallowing up by the earth, according to Reliance of the Traveler, the metamorphosis into animals, and they will be rained upon with stones. Someone asked, when will this be, O Messenger of Allah? And he said, when songstresses and musical instruments appear and wine is held to be lawful.
Uh-oh.
You think any of these kids are drinking, listening to music, or doing drugs or anything like that? They would never
They
do
would
that.
have
It
to.
doesn't
They would
matter.
never do that.
I mean, they're doomed on the song part, and this is obviously
And you-
saying that's leading. It could
Yeah,
lead
exactly.
to other
And
things.
you could see in the video, though, it's obvious their mothers, some of their mothers are there with them. Of course, the mothers are fully covered, unlike the daughters, but still.
All right, so let me ask both of you guys. You have one of our Muslim friends here that we have very nice discussions and debates with. If they were here right now, how would you challenge them to rethink their Sharia beliefs in Islam based upon what this says and based upon the human experience you're looking at on the screen about this young guy winning this contest?
Yikes.
Well, how I would, is like, what do you prefer? Do you prefer Sharia law, or do you prefer Western values? Because right here, this is American Idol, and you can't be any more Western, perverse, any more corruptful of your youth than this. This strikes right at the heart of everything that Sharia book stands for. Which one are you going to choose, West? Which one are you going to choose, Muslim?
That's a little tough. I mean,
I don't know. I think I would start out by finding out how much the person actually knows about Sharia and what it is,
Well, that's
to determine if they're actually compliant or not. Because
then they're not Muslim. Then if they're not following
no,
Sharia,
they're still Muslim, but they
they're
may
Muslims
not.
in name only.
No, they're still Muslims, but they may not be practicing Islam
Okay.
the way that the book tells them to, and they may not know that.
here's what I would do.
But this guy was born to convert people. So
No, challenge people to think on their own.
Ask him.
You have to find.
I'm not trying to
Yep.
hurt anybody. I'm just saying this is the value between Western
No, I'm just
society.
saying.
Well, you-
No, I
and
don't just think
Eastern
it's.
society.
I don't think it's just Western versus Eastern, because there are plenty of Eastern religions and
That love
Eastern
music.
cultures
Middle Eastern religions.
that don't subscribe to totalitarianism.
Oh, I agree with you there, CJ. I'm talking about Islam.
We're talking about the rules. This is a rule of the faith. This is not, when you go back, like Mark said earlier, when you go back to all the guys here, when you want to know about Islam, you go to Al-Azhar University in Cairo. Al-Azhar said,
Just like our president
yeah, where he goes. That's right. That's right. He does it. He's doing
when
a.
he's traveling abroad.
He's doing another master's. He's doing a master's in international affairs at Al-Azhar. But when you look at the authority that this book has, I would ask our Muslim friends, and I'll ask you right now out there, you saw the happiness in the Gazans. Forget about the politics for a minute, okay? We're just talking about the human experience of people being excited and enthralled and joyed and committed and united with one of their own achieving something in the arts. This particular division or component of the arts is music. I would ask our Muslim friends out there, is that experience that those folks are having in Gaza, is that a valid experience? Are they truly happy? Or are they making believe they're happy? Now, our Muslim friends, if they answered honestly, what would they have to say?
Well, they would have to say that these people look happy.
They certainly appear happy.
But they wouldn't necessarily agree that that is a validation of something positive in life.
Well, if
Like,
step
that's
at a
not the
time.
point.
A step at a time. Right, exactly. If they look happy and the others, even the people that lost the contest, cheered Mohammed Assaf as he won.
Actually, one of his people who he went up there actually gave up his spot as a.
That's right, because he said he was a better singer.
He's a better
Yeah.
singer. I mean, so this is not just one person. here.
It's a fascinating story. Are these real levels of commitment and concern for one another? Yeah, of course they are. Well, where just logically, if you didn't know anything about Sharia or anything about reliance of the traveler, where does this start to come? Where do the wheels start to come off of people enjoying someone expressing themselves in music? Where in your mind, our Muslim friends, is that evil?
Okay. Well, to back up a little bit,
Where is it evil, though?
where is it?
Where is it
evil?
inherently evil for someone to excel at singing and bringing joy to other people? Where is that inherently evil?
It's not.
Is it?
No, I mean, because the joy of music is the center of all our souls. I could care less whether you're Indian, Muslim, or whatever. It is the heart of who we are. It's what makes us human beings. It's what makes us get up every day and go live. Is that soul inside ourselves, that soul of music, and that's what keeps us all going. And that anybody who tries to quash that soul of music, to me, is inherently evil.
If you go to, it's well said, if you go to the book of Psalms in the Hebrew Bible, the Psalms are songs. Songs
Yes.
primarily by David, who wrote them, and there's instructions in the book of Psalms to sing these songs to certain type instruments. So the Hebrews of the day saw the value and the importance of music in the life of worship, in the life of just pure enjoyment. I mean, the Hebrews are told many, many times to sing and dance unto the Lord. So it is part and parcel of Hebrew culture to honor God through song, through dance, through worship, in that artistic fashion. Who felt that the Jews dropped the ball? Which group that came after Christians felt the Jews dropped the ball? The Muslims. So they had to disagree with virtually all the primary belief systems of Judaism, one of which is the use of instruments and dance and all of this to worship God. Thus, the condemnation and categorical prohibition against using instrumentation and song in any sort of way in any sort of way, let alone a way that honors God.
Well, I think also if you look at this book, it seems like the people who wrote it really want life to be a misery for the people who practice this.
Well,
because if it is a misery, then you're going to find happiness and peace in any little nugget of life that somebody lets you have. And also you'll do anything that you are told to do so that in the next life, that's when life is going to be good for you. It's kind of like Catholicism in the Middle Ages or something like that. Same kind of thing.
Well,
Catholicism in the Middle Ages was the clergy did not want the laity to understand the language,
right?
Because
Keep them dumb.
They weren't
Yeah.
competent, and there's a measure of truth to that. You don't know the language, but it really was abused because we had two popes at one time. All of that,
Right.
It was used for political and totalitarian purposes, and the church reformed itself out of that.
Right.
But Islam can't reform itself.
You can't
Well, it's
reform
doctrinal.
Islam.
No.
Actually, I agree with you all 100%, but I actually think it's much bigger than that. It's much bigger for the fact that the core basis of Islam and Islamic Sharia teachings is the controlling of sexuality of women. And when that becomes your core basis of ideology, anything that tends to promote the sexuality of women, therefore must be banned. And
Sure.
that's where I keep going back. The music must be controlled. And you look at it back in Nazi World War II Germany. What did Hitler want to do? He tried to breed the perfect race. Therefore, he had to control the music, which he did. You remember the movie Swing Kids? You remember all the great jazz artists, how they had to be expelled out of the country?
Sure.
That music must be there to control the society. If you do not control the music music lets the people go out of control, have sex with whoever they want to.
All right, let me add more to this. The next section.
Ugh.
I'm reading from Reliance of the Traveler, folks. We're commenting about
Is the next one dancing?
the young guy who just won the Arab Idol Award. He won the Palestinian Idol Award. We're going to show the video in a second again for those of you just tuning in. And we're saying that there's a wedge, a huge wedge being put into Sharia compliant Islam and human beings who want to enjoy the arts, in particular music. But you go to the rule book that every Muslim is supposed to follow, and it says on R40.2, Nawawi, it is unlawful to use musical instruments such as those which drinkers are known for, like the mandolin, the lute, the cymbals, and the flute, or to listen to them. Did you get that? Our Muslim friends, Tom Trento, CJ, Mark, the United West, all our Muslim friends, and those of you who think we don't like you, we're asking you this question. Your rule book says it is unlawful to use musical instruments such as those which drinkers are known for, like the mandolin, the lute, cymbals, and flute, or to listen to them. Your iPods will send you directly to perdition, to hell. Tell me how listening on your iPod, like you do every single day, isn't in direct violation of the rule book that you need to follow to get to heaven. Chew on that for a little bit.
But Tom, that's
Wait, I'm not done.
Old rules, Tom.
It is permissible to play the tambourine at weddings, circumcisions, and other times, even though it has bells on its side. Beating the kuba, a long drum with a narrow middle, is unlawful. So, as for listening to singing that is not accompanied by instruments, it goes on and on and on.
It's a lot of instructions.
That singing or listening to singing is offensive. Some scholars say you can sing in a wedding, and that's it. So you listen to music at a wedding. You listening on your iPods. You watching movies with people singing. You cheering for American Idol or Arab Idol. They're doomed.
But those are old rules, Tom. Those don't pertain till today. That book was written, God, how many centuries ago? The book that you had? Oh, I'm sorry, that was written just recently.
Well, maybe these
2000,
kids
but-
didn't go to.
Sorry.
Maybe these kids didn't go to Hamas summer camp when they were younger.
You know, sometimes when you play
This is
music,
a modern day rule book written by them for Muslims in North America. This is this is for Muslims in North America, let alone the Muslims over in the Middle East. This is actually Sharia light, if you really want to get technical about it.
well, yeah.
Yeah, because they're supposed to blend a little bit while they're here until they take over.
What am I doing right now? Sort of. White man.
You're-
White man dance.
White man dancing.
Yeah.
Okay, white man dancing.
Get a mic
Okay.
here.
I thought you were getting ready to spar. Maybe it looks the same.
It looks the same for me anyway. But for Muslims, it is not permitted to dance. I'm reading from your rule book. It is not permitted to dance. Probably that would be a good rule for me if you ever see me dance.
I'll second that. Yeah.
But it is not permitted to dance, which is not unlawful because it is only motions while made standing or bowing. So you cannot have expressed say that neither is offensive or is permissible. You are not allowed to dance. You can make a motion while you're standing or bowing, but you can't dance to music and get involved in that process. You go to hell.
This is like the 1950 thing on mega
is-
steroids.
this is worse.
This is
This
so
is worse.
much.
Let's draw a
worse.
couple of.
Well, you know, I wanna, if I could,
Yeah.
really quick, add to something that Mark said earlier about Hitler. Couple of points. First of all, the banning of the jazz and all this kind of music. First of all, it was a reaction to a cultural revolution against what took place before World War II, in the period of time between World War I and World War II, where it was really, the society was in a free fall and it was a free for all, and they had to get rid of that to condition the society.
Well, they would bring order back.
Recondition
bring
the
order back to the
society.
gray.
Right. And then the music was an important part of the state propaganda. So they had to recondition people to the sound of music because that's part of what motivated them propaganda-wise at rallies and in public and on the radio and everything else. It became an organ of the state. The
Yes.
music did.
Music was totally an organ of the state, and there was a list of what music was permitted, what music was forbidden, what music was should be listened to by the troops, what music should be this. And I mean, it was all ordered from the state, just like it is all ordered from the state by Islam. Except the state is theocratic under Islam, where it was socialist under Nazi Germany.
Well, that's for our audience, and we weren't originally going to spend this much time on this, but I think this is a very important subject because it provides a little bit of hope for those of us in the United States in particular, that in order to disrupt, disable, destroy Sharia-compliant Islam, that doesn't mean a Muslim can't worship as they see fit, as long as it doesn't violate American laws and the intent isn't to overthrow the United States government. We believe that one way to disrupt, disable, destroy Sharia-compliant Islam is through the use of music, to encourage Muslim kids to have iPads, to assimilate into the West, and then let them make decisions whether they want to follow the Sharia or follow what is normal and natural. Show this 1 minute and 30-second news report one more time. It's very, very important. Here we go.
And then I have
in
a question
Beirut.
for
Okay,
you two
sure.
experts.
Okay.
Traffic gridlock in the middle of the night. But this was a moment to savour. Waving Palestinian flags and the traditional keffiyeh scarf, families came out on the streets after a Gazan, Mohammed Assaf, was declared the winner of a prestigious regional talent contest. Young people here can relate to the 23-year-old who had a rough start to life growing up in the Khan Yunis refugee camp. Now he's a role model and a hero. Look and see what Mohammed Assaf is doing, they chant.
Gaza hasn't seen
look and see what
scenes
he's
of
doing.
celebration like this, such an emotional outpouring since the end of last November's conflict with Israel. But this is all for a singer, 23-year-old Mohammed Assaf. He's the new Palestinian idol and now the new Arab idol.
There was plenty of support for the former wedding singer in the Beirut studio where the TV show is produced. Still, Mohammed Assaf was overwhelmed by his victory. And he thanked people across the Palestinian territories for their votes. Soon, many will get the chance to see him in concert. He's expected to perform in the occupied West Bank, as well as for excited fans back home in Gaza. Yolande Snell, BBC News, Gaza City.
All right, now watch this. This is important. And CJ has a killer question, no pun intended. He was born in Libya, Mohammed Assaf was. He didn't free Palestine, wrote one blogger, but he brought joy to people who didn't quite smile for the past 66 years. It goes on to say that public figures, am I there?
Yes.
Public figures like President Mahmoud Abbas has called on all Palestinians to show their support for the singer. He has the backing of big business, which produces the posters and sponsors him, and characteristically so, Hamas does not like what's going on, but they're keeping very quiet. And the singer's success has made him a powerful symbol for young Palestinians. A man in his 20s said, Mohammed sends our message to the world that we don't like fighting, we don't like war. We need to have our rights like other people, and we just want to be happy.
Well, how does it contrast between this picture here, Tom, that I'm about to put up on the screen?
Well, CJ has a question. Yeah, well, okay. Hamas, I mean, look, we're dealing with competing entities here. We're analyzing it. What's your question, CJ?
Well, first of all, an observation of the bias of the BBC reporter who referred to the occupied West Bank. I don't know if you all heard that. And then my question for you guys is, so these people who are going to be doomed in the afterlife for listening to music, can they atone for it by performing acts of jihad in the here and now? Will that absolve them?
Yes, actually it will. If they die in the name of Allah, they get all sins are forgiven.
So maybe these kids are just going to think to themselves, I might as well do what I want, and then before it's over, I'll just, kill some Jews or something like that, and then I get a free pass in the next life.
I guarantee
I can hear what you're saying, CJ, but I can't agree with you because I just think these kids are being kids. I think they're kids. They're enjoying music. They're wanting to say, "Hey, this is cool."
I guarantee you. Here's where I disagree with you, Mark. I guarantee you, it's true what you're saying, but I guarantee you the Hamas intelligence agencies are identifying everybody. When all the hoopla calms down, they're going to go sit down with them and have a little conversation and say, that was nice, but this is now.
Now let me tell you about your re-education program.
And we got to say goodbye right now, but tomorrow on Tuesday the 25th.
We'll cover some news.
We got some new stuff for you too. But right now, folks, have a wonderful afternoon. Drive safely. 498 days till November 6th or 4th. What is it? I don't know.
Goodbye.
Palestinian flags and the traditional keffiyeh scarf, families came out on the streets after a Gazan, Mohammed Assaf, was declared the winner of a prestigious regional talent contest.